Hi there VC, Steve Whitty here. Time for another video. A little bit different this video is because I'm going to show records that I'm culling this month. Like quite a lot of people, space is a premium here. It's a small flat I live in, and you can't keep everything. And sometimes you'll listen to an album and you're not feeling it anymore about it. So I'm taking the viewpoint is rather than have it gathering dust on the shelf, I'll remove it from the collection. So without further ado, I'm going to show you the first one. Not that many, to be honest, but there are some. First one I'm going to show you, it's Black Sabbath, Never Say Die. And the reason this is going is it's rubbish. It's not a very good album. It's not Sabbath, I don't think Sabbath admitted that. It was the last album to feature Ozzy before he got kicked out the following year. And it does sound a bit of a mishmash. The title track's okay. I've got it as a single. But I'm not a completist. And I think, I'd rather let somebody else make a decision and decide whether this is worth it's a good album or not. So Black Sabbath, Never Say Die, that's out. Next album might surprise you. It's Iron Maiden's Peace of Mind, their fourth studio album from 1983. Start of the month, Pete was away, so I was looking after the shop for him, and I thought I'd play this. I hadn't heard it in a while, and I just didn't feel anything for it at all, apart from the Trooper. I just didn't enjoy listening to it, and I thought, you know what? Again, I'm not a completist, and it got me thinking. The question: do Iron Maiden make consistent albums? And I think about it. In part, some Number of the Beast, maybe, yeah, but Number of the Beast. I'm not sure whether they've got an album which has got every track's a really good track. It always seems to have a duff track on there, just in my opinion. But in 1982-83, I was all over Iron Maiden. I saw them at the Number of the Beast tour for the Princely Summer £2.50 at the Odeon New Street. I was all over them. But it's a band that I've just not say gone to dislike. I've just not really followed the career. There's some, I'd say, some tracks from the latest stuff I do like, but I've never gone out and brought any. So, Peace of Mind is out. Next album is Split Enz True Colours from 1980. And the reason I'm getting rid of this is I've recently found a copy of this which had the laser etched pressing. So for those who don't know, there was a limited edition run of this album on that sort of laser etch, and you could see basically the sleeve on the record with Split Enz on it. And I found it in a charity shop, so I brought it, and this one is going to back to the same charity shop for them to see if they can flog that. So that's the only reason. It's a duplication. Split Enz True Colours. Jethro Tull's War Child. This is going primarily because it's not in the greatest of nick. I know I can pick up a better copy for very little money. So that's the reason this is going. Nothing wrong with the album, the actual record itself. I'm not getting rid of it because it's a record I dislike. It's because it's not in the greatest of nick. And I think, if I remember at the time, I picked it up in a cheap bins. So maybe it's time for an upgrade. Next album is Rolling Stones' Gimme Shelter. Now, I've got quite a few Rolling Stone comps, so this is the one that's going. So basically, side one is sort of best of the late 60s stuff. So Jumping Jack Flash, Love in Vain, Honky Tonk Women, Street Fighting Man, Sympathy for the Devil, and Gimme Shelter. Side two is live. It's recorded at the Albert Hall, so you've got live versions are under my thumb. Time is on my side. I've been loving you too long. The Otis Ready song. Fortune Teller. Lady Jane and I Can't Get No Satisfaction. And they're not great live recordings. I think the big thing that was always thrown at the Rolling Stones is that they never really made a sort of like a killer live album, and this doesn't really help. I think it was just a recording and Decca, who had just lost the Stones that set up Rolling Stones Records, decided to cash in a little bit. So as I said, I've got a couple of Rolling Stones comps. Yeah, there's no need to keep that one. And then finally, this is one where it's not in great. It's Nick. This is Trojan's Greatest Hits, Volume 3. And you do have to be careful with reggae. That it's there's a little warp, and it don't play great on mine. It might play great on somebody else's, and that's why that is going. So there you go. It's just those records that I'm culling. Sometimes it's quite cathartic, to get rid, make a little bit of room. So there you go. All those records will be taken to my local Oxfam, which I do volunteer in, so I'll price them up accordingly. I know I've got a couple of regular customers that queue up at very early in the morning to see what I put out. So that's for them. Right. Hope you enjoyed that. What do you think? Do you think it's good to cull the records that you're not feeling anymore? Let me know. So thumbs up, thumbs down. Love the interaction. Feel free to leave a comment. And if you're so inclined, you can always subscribe to the channel as well. So whatever you do, VC, take care of yourselves. Keep spinning. More importantly, keep on smiling.